Hello and welcome to Make Sense. I am your host, Brittany Haley, and today we are joined with two guests. We have Vice President Mortgage Lending Manager Matt Dufall, and we have Mortgage Originator Jake Lipman. They are experts in the field of all that is mortgages and the current home buying climate. Combined together, they have 66 years of experience in the field, and I am really excited to have them today to talk about mortgages in the current home buying climate. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. This is such a hot topic right now. I think this is on so many people's minds because of rises in the prime rate and the different kind of shift in the home buying climate that we've experienced. So, Matt, can you explain to me what you think the current interest rates have done to the market?
Well, talking strictly the mortgage market here for a second, obviously we did a lot of refinances during COVID when the interest rates were really low. So that refinance practice has pretty much stopped. We don't do many refinances anymore unless someone really needs to refinance. So that in and of itself has slowed down the market. The other thing it's done is I think it's reduced the inventory for people to go out and purchase houses. What happens when the interest rates go up as high and as fast as they did is people that were thinking of selling their houses and didn't really need to but wanted to decided that maybe I'm not going to sell now because why should I replace my 3% interest rate with something 6 or 6.5%? So I think that's part of the problems that would happen. And then finally, because there's less inventory, prices have stayed high. With the prices staying high and the interest rates going higher, people didn't qualify for quite the same amount of money as they thought they were going to qualify for. So it's either pricing people out of the market or it's pricing them out of the house that they really wanted. So those three things have probably been the biggest things that happened with the increase in interest rates.
Oh, all right. And Jake, you deal directly with the general public, people coming in to apply, to originate those mortgages. Now, when someone comes to you and they ask, what should I do? Should I buy now? Should I wait? What do you tell them?
So, Brittany, that's a pretty interesting question. You know, alluding to what Matt said about the interest rates going up, a lot of the refinances have stopped. But when we're talking about purchases, I mean, people still want mortgages. They want to get out there. But there's a change in the market right now. The interest rates have gone up. So people, as Matt said, too, that people are not going to qualify for as much as they thought they were. Waiting out the market can be difficult. It's going to take some time. People want to, go from a smaller house to a larger house. They want to upsize. That's fine if they want to do that. But then, like Matt said, too, they might have a good interest rate on their current mortgage rate right now. But then when they move into it, it's going to be definitely higher. If they can afford that, that's great. We're here to help them do that. So we want to try to make home ownership a reality for people, especially, today in today's world. And as Matt said, too, the prime rate has gone up and the rates have gone up. So waiting on a market can be challenging. It can be time, if someone has the patience to do so, then of course. But, it's a tough question. It's into that individual personal question. Do I wait or do I not wait? I can't tell you to do that. I don't think Matt can tell you to do that. You can't do that. It's really up to them individually. All we can do is we can help them, we can assist them, and, we can talk to them about the process.
I think the important part of that, Brittany, is they want to educate themselves. So there are first-time home buyers that want to buy. Obviously, limited inventory makes it difficult to buy. What they had qualified for last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, might be a little bit less than they qualify for now. But I don't think the waiting on the market should be a decision after you investigated the market. So I don't think you should just say to yourself, well, the interest rates are higher, I'm not going to do this anymore. I think what you have to do is you have to find a lender. Leominster Credit Union does this. You have to find a lender that you can go to, that you can talk to somebody. They can sit down, they can tell you what they qualify for, they can do a pre-approval to make sure that everything is in order, that they're able to purchase a house. And then at that point, the person has the number, the ammunition to go out and look at houses. So they can at least link on to a real estate agent and go out there and take a look at the market, see what they can afford, because what they can afford is the same monthly payment that they could afford before. What they were willing to pay before, but how much of a house does that buy? can I buy a house that fits my needs based upon what I can afford right now? It is, if you'll pardon the pun, it is interesting that the monthly payment that you can afford doesn't change. So it all really depends on the price of the house. Even though you're paying a higher interest rate, you're not actually paying a higher monthly payment if you get a monthly payment that you can afford and you're comfortable with. So you go out in the market, you find a couple houses that fit the price range of what you can do with the help of your lender and the help of your real estate agent. And if that house fits your needs, if it's big enough, and if it fits your kids and you like the house and everything else, you can move forward. There's always the option later on, if the interest rates do come back down, there's always the option later on to refinance, and you can better yourself by doing that. But I would not tell people to just stay home and don't do it. I would tell them, go out there, get the education that is offered to you, and figure out, is this something I can do now, and is this something I'm comfortable with now?
Right, and you bring up a really good point about educating yourself. And when it comes to educating yourself, I know that you have held some really awesome seminars for first-time homebuyers. Do you want to just summarize that real quick, touch on those seminars that you hold?
Yeah, we generally hold 4 to 5 seminars every spring. And it really is it's geared towards home buying, but it's also geared towards refinancing, and it's geared towards financing itself. So in recent years, because of COVID, we do several of them online. So they are, and that seems to be helpful. People seem to be able to fit that into their schedule a little bit better than having to drive to Leominster Credit Union. But then we also do the in-person one, and a lot of people like the in-person one. So that's pretty successful. But we do those in the spring. Often we'll do them in the fall. I won't tell you we've done them every fall, but we do offer them throughout the year.
Yeah, they're a really great thing to attend. I know when I was a first-time home buyer, I had to attend the sessions, and just so informative, learning all about the lending process, kind of what you're getting yourself into. And like you said, educating yourself so that way you can make those informed decisions with home buying and with mortgages.
Brittany, can I interject for 1 second?
Absolutely,
I apologize.
yeah.
I think that, when you said it, when Matt talked about it and you talk about it, the home buyer seminars, it's really about education. And, the big thing is, and also Matt alluded to it, is it's a big thing about going out and knowing where you are. So it's your financial comfortability, for that matter, where you stand, what you want to spend, how much you want to spend on per month on your mortgage. But as Matt said, don't sit at home and be like, I'm just going to wait out. Get a starting point. At Leominster Credit Union, we'll be more than happy to sit down and talk to people, and educate them and tell them where they are now, where they should be, what they want to do in life. So we'll look at everything. We look at the whole picture, and that's what I think people need to realize, that there is help out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing is, we can help them to understand the process. So it's not just about how much do you afford or what can you do, but we can understand the process. What am I going to have to gather up? If I don't have enough money, how much do I have to save? What kind of paperwork are you guys going to look for? Anything that you can do that makes you understand the process. A lot of people just hear the word mortgages and they stiffen up and they get a little bit nervous, and how am I going to do this? That's what we're here for. That's what Jake does on a daily basis. Jake is on the phone with people and explaining to them, this is what you can do. These are the type of things we're going to look for. Well, Jake, I don't have that right now. So Jake says, well, if you do this, this, and this, we can move towards that. So maybe a year from now, you will be qualified.
Don't think you just hit a dead end. With us, we'll work. As Matt said, we'll work around it. We'll try to figure out a solution for you. That's our big thing.
Yeah, I mean, buying a home is a huge life decision. So it's awesome that you're there to help along the way and give that guidance. Say, hey, it may not work out right now, but you do these steps and this is where you'll be able to get that home. Now, when we're talking about the current market, everything that's happening, the rise in prime rates, what do you think is going to happen in the future, Matt? Where do you see this going?
Well, I will be perfectly honest. This is all guess. This is all an estimate on my part, and I'll explain that a little bit. But I think you saw the interest rates shoot up. They really went up quickly. And we've had the changes in the prime rate, and although the prime rate doesn't necessarily affect the mortgage market quite as much as it affects borrowing that's based on prime, it does definitely affect the mortgage market. So we really shot up quickly. You would have to believe, and I think people would the experts and everybody would say that there should be some softening in the future once we get past this whole inflation thing and everything else. But we have to understand something about this business, and it's important to understand that we don't really know what's going to happen. It's hard for me, that's why it's so hard for me to tell somebody, oh, just wait it out. The interest rates are going to go back down to 3.5%. I don't know that. One of the big things to understand, in the past, probably since, I'll talk about since 2000. I won't go back to when I started because most people probably weren't born then, but we'll talk about since 2000. There have been two huge events that happened that caused interest rates to run. The first one being 9/11, and the second one being COVID. So had COVID never appeared, we never would have seen a March where interest rates just fell off the table and dropped down to 2.875% for a 30-year fixed rate. It wouldn't have happened. And the same thing in 9/11. We wouldn't have had Twin Towers blown up and then all of a sudden the interest rates go down. There are reasons why it happens. When the country shuts down, there are only a few things that can be controlled to keep business going in the country. One of them is the real estate market and the interest rate market. But it took those two huge events for this to happen. We could never have predicted that. So when you're trying to predict interest rate, when you're trying to figure out, okay, what's going to happen in the future, I don't know. We have an election year coming up. It will be contentious at the very least. Will that make a difference? It's hard to guess what happens. There is a little bit of emotion involved here. It's not all scientific. So I think from an overview, you have to expect that the interest rates will soften a little bit. But for me to sit here and say, hey, just wait 6 months, this is going to happen for you, I really can't do that because I really don't know.
Right, right. Well, this has been a ton of excellent information. And in summary, I just want to cover, when you're thinking about buying a home, like Matt and Jake have mentioned here, there's some steps you want to take. You want to make sure you educate yourself if there is something that you can attend that will inform you on the home buying process, the market, what is entailed in making that decision, get there. So educate yourself. You want to make sure you are working with a lender, that you're working with an agent, so that way you can get pre-approved. Make sure you get that pre-approval. Work with a lender, work with an agent, and see what you can afford. See what you can really afford. Take that big picture, look at your budget, look at this impact to yourself, to your credit, to your future, and then get your home. And don't let these different events here deter you from making these decisions, because I think no matter what, people need a place to live, and it doesn't matter what's happening in the market, what's happening to the rates, that there's still a way to make things happen here. And thank you guys really for being here. Thank you so much for your wealth of knowledge. I really appreciate it. And if there is something that you would like to see on an upcoming episode, feel free to email fined@lemonstercu.com. And I hope that you've enjoyed this episode and that it makes sense.